into another book, I like to focus on your advocacy uh, for your podcast, Caribbean Stories. Then
Yes.
what? You're a columnist also for It Corner. Talk about those
Yeah.
two that I know about, and what other advocacy you do for advocacy you do for literature and writing.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
something like what I'm doing. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Pretty much what I'm doing is pretty much a protest in a sense to society to say that our kids deserve to be seen. And if you don't make it happen, then I want to make sure that my time on earth and in this generation that I can impact as many kids as I can and get the work done.
Yolanda, let's quickly go through some of your books. Hot Cross Buns for Everyone, A Piece of Black Cake. Let's do that little, perhaps the one in the screen, A
Yes.
Piece of Black Cake for Santa.
Yes. A Piece of Black Cake for Santa was written, it first written in 2017, and that book was actually self-published originally, and it had like this old illustration that I paid like $200 for, right? 200 Canadian dollars, and it was published. I got it published through Amazon for free. So I didn't pay a lot for that, but the storyline was what made it, right? And it happened because with my son, we go, we can leave milk and cookies for Santa, or what do you want to leave for Santa? So he goes, we can leave some sorrel and black cake for Santa. And I was like, yeah. And I felt so proud. I was like, you look at that. I made a Guyanese kid here in Canada. And it says yes, because it dawned on me that around Christmas time, this is what we look forward to. So you find the kids in this book left pastels, especially my Trinidadian kid in there, and you have my Bajan kid Jug, and the kids left fresh bread and all these beautiful things for Santa that keep. But most of all, we all eat black cake at Santa, so we at Christmas time. So, and our Santa doesn't have to look white. Santa could look just like us, right? And I wanted the representation station to be there.
Yeah.
And this book blew up. When I got my multi-book deal from the publisher, Chalkboard took this book as well. They bought the rights for this book as well because it was that great. In the UK, it does great because everyone within the diaspora can relate to it. But A Piece of Black Cake for Santa is celebrating our heritage and the things we love at Christmas time. And no, I did not grow up in Guyana having milk and cookies. Like what? It was Mobby, sorrel, ginger beer, all that good stuff.
Yeah. You know what you were doing then? You were sort of uh, murdering sacred cows, the things, the Eurocentric things. You know what I mean? You you were like a
Yes,
pioneer
you
there. You know?
you decolonize your shelf,
You
right?
did, yeah, that's what you're doing. Right?
Yes,
Right. Look at
yes,
the color of Santa.
softly,
Look at the color of Santa that you have.
softly, yes, softly. There's a way to do it for kids. If you normalize this, when we normalize other kids who are not like us seeing this, it builds empathy within them. They have to realize that, listen, this way of the world that's always been seen isn't the right way. We are so diverse and we should be able to see things like yourself, and that's fine. We're here to share the world, not to dominate and destroy everyone else, just to lay your way. So yes, this I want to normalize a brown Santa, and I want to normalize kids. It doesn't matter what country they're from, to feel like, yeah, I can leave this. I step into a classroom in Canada or in the US and I'll say, hey, what will you leave for Santa? And I have kids from Turkey, I have kids from Iraq, I have kids from everywhere in the world going, I'll leave this for Santa, because in their home, this is what the parents make or their grandparents make, and they should feel that, yeah, my traditions matter too.
Yeah. I like my brothers in South America. They have black angels and used to listen, read their literature, you know what I mean? In my backyard,
Yes.
black
Yes.
angels and all manner of things. Let's perhaps go to hot cross buns now. We talk about food, music, yeah.
Yes, hot cross buns is so nice. It's pretty much poetically written and rhymes so nice. One, then two, then three, then four. Kids with hot cross buns march through the door. Five, then six. So it goes, and you have the kids can read along because they can predict the next word. And it's about Jackson, who loves Easter time, and he's gonna have a party. So he has an Italian friend who brings an Italian hot cross buns that she loves, that her nonna makes, or her grandma. And you have a kid who's Greek, is going to bring Greek hot cross buns with their traditional spices. You have a kid that's Scottish. You have, of course, Jamaican butter cheese. In the US and in Canada, I remember when I first came here, and I was looking for hot cross buns. My mom got some from the regular grocery store, and I was like, boy, this hot cross bun stays brackish. It just ain't. It was missing the spices. And I go, Mom, this thing, she goes, oh, I can make some, because she makes it. And then she goes, oh, but she goes, we have to go to the Caribbean store. So we did.
Yeah.
And I saw Jamaica hot. I go, this is the kind of bun we have back home. And it's like, yeah. So we ate it, and I go, this is what I miss. This was it. So I wanted to make sure I put a kid in here to be that Caribbean representation. Like, our bun have some nice flavors, And they all brought their different buns to the Easter party. The book is not religious in any way. There's nothing pointing to religion. If anything, there's a story at the back of this book that told a tale that in the 1500s, Queen Elizabeth I had banned hot cross buns. It was only to be eaten at Good Friday and Christmas. And if you waited any other time, so kids learn that we are rebels because we can eat this all year round.
I've got one for you also. The masquerade was also banned certain times in Guyana. Yeah. And other festivals in the Caribbean, Jukunu and all those things were banned sometime.
Exactly. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll talk about Jukunu today. I'm gonna talk about. But I wanted hot cross buns. To this day we celebrate it. So yes, let's normalize seeing ourselves in Easter books. I grew up with Easter books that had more bunny than black characters or brown characters.
Sweet Sorrel.
Yes, Sweet Sorrel Stand is for young entrepreneurs. So this book was written in it was published in 2018, and it's about two kids that love sorrel drink, and they're like, hey, let's start a Sweet Sorrel stand, right? Because here you have like the lemonade stand, and it's like, but we have such beautiful traditional drinks. So this is to teach kids that there's certain things that we eat traditionally in our home, in our culture, and we can start a business like that. Let's normalize being proud of our food and selling it. And sorrel drink is so nutritious, and it has a lot of vitamins, especially vitamin A. And it's originally from West Africa. A lot of people didn't know that. And I made sure that it was known in this book, that we can look up foods and see where it came from. The sorrel drink came with the West Africans during the enslaved Africans. And it came across the ocean as for medicinal use.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes, and it stayed with us. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Now the kids just decided, no, let's sell sorrel. It's great, and it was so good. They made a lot of money. They made enough to pay for the ingredients, to buy the ball that they wanted to, and also to put in their piggy bank. So it was profitable.
What other influences you were growing up in Guyana that sort of steered you or direct you towards writing? What was your reading day? What was school day like? What the type of books that you read?
Yeah. I like many types of books. Of course, I would read books like Walter Rodney. I knew who he was. My grandfather, who was a Pan-Africanist, like he had a lot of books that taught about African nations, as like Jomo Kenyatta and such. I love V.S. Nepal. I really do.
Oh yeah.
I do. I think Miguel Street is the funniest, most powerful book I've read, and I read it at a young age, and I read it again. during my university days. And I have that book. I can pick that book up and I would laugh until tears come to my eyes, because in your life and in my childhood, I could relate to
Characters.
the richness of knowledge, to the poverty in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So, these are the kinds of books, of course, a lot of Anansi spiders and such. I don't feel like I was introduced to a lot of books that showed us being proud of who we were in terms of our language. We were also told to speak proper English and don't talk like that. And there was nothing to celebrate. Well, this is my culture. This is who I am. And to celebrate their foods and, to see kids like myself. I've, of course, never had that. But there were a few Caribbean books that I was, I would read here and there. Most of the books, unfortunately, had kids that did not look like me. When I was very young, my dad and my parents had the Sweet Sweet Home series. And my dad would read that every night. And I would grab it and pretend that I'm reading until I knew how to read it. So I actually collected a lot of the books on Amazon. I paid an arm and a leg because it's not printed anymore. It's like a collector's item now. But that's pretty much what I was introduced to at a young age. But I would say what shaped me a lot is the stories, the oral stories that my uncles would tell us, or elders. That really sticks with you, and sometimes it's not just coming from a book. It's more of the tradition of storytelling that sticks with me. Also, my friends of different cultures. You get to experience so much, and there's so much to tell coming from Guyana. If you just take the time to appreciate
you an opportunity the next time as you pour out more books, but from right. That's a talk. Is it talk half, left half?
I know. We have so much to talk about.
So much to talk about. All right, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
You remember that story back, Wordsworth in V.S. Naipaul's book? Pepper soup. I remember having pepper soup in Penny Lane, in England. Scotland. So much to talk about. But I see you bought some new books due to come out. So let me wish you well those new titles. And thank you for bringing these eye-openers. They're eye-openers. They are books that forms your advocacy. They are books that open our eyes. They are books of knowledge for children. And we should not forget, right, the children. That is where we should start our education. That's where they learn the most and everything. Thanks so very much. You have been so wonderful. I love to see you when the drum beat. I love to see you dancing on your head one day. Good luck with your writing. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Persaud. Thank you.
You're welcome.